Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth, also known as the Continuum Chronicles. I'm your host, Chris Kent, the Game Master, or GM for short. And today we're going to be talking about the Transformers RPG that I'm running. But before we get into that, smash that like button right now. Ring the bell so you know when I upload stuff, and make sure you're still subscribed. We got a great community starting to happen here, and that's all thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for being here. All that said, let's dive into today's adventure. Prologue to this one takes place 9 million years ago on the metallic planet Cybertron, home of the Transformers. They are enjoying a period known as the Golden Age of Cybertron. Deep below the planet's surface, a group of Autobots gather. They are Bone Crusher, Hauler, Hightower, Hook, Long Haul, Mixmaster, Scavenger, and Scrapper. Together, they build an Autobot named D16. But D16 is a problem child, and as he ages, he keeps getting worse and worse until one day he adopts the name Megatron. And he not only joins the Decepticons, he ends up leading them. Then we get into the main plot of today's adventure. Soundwave tells Megatron they need more recruits if they are to exterminate the inferior Autobots. So Megatron tasks Shockwave with inventing some sort of brainwashing gadget. Shockwave does as Megatron commands and invents a gadget that the fearful Autobots refer to as the Robo Smasher. It vaguely resembles a flying saucer on mechanical spider legs, and it has metal tendrils similar to those used by Dr. Octopus. This device acts almost like an oversized face hugger, latching onto its prey and then opening up their head and using spikes, welding torches, etc. on the victim's brain. Megatron is secretly conflicted. While the Decepticons are supremacists who talk about how inferior the Autobots are, Megatron himself began life as an Autobot, and his 8 fathers are all Autobots. So the Robo Smasher is a way to get his fathers on his side without having to exterminate them. And that's exactly what happens. The Robo Smashers stalk Bone Crusher, Hook, Longhaul Mixmaster, Scavenger, and Scrapper, but the other 2 Autobots get away. The Robo Smashers not only reprogram their victims, but they also reconfigure their bodies. So these 6 Autobots are now known as the Constructicons. And now they can merge into the combiner robot known as Devastator. Megatron is delighted his fathers are on his team. While he sends Soundwave to search for the 2 that got away, he sends the Constructicons to Crystal City. When they get there, they find the city is guarded by Omega Supreme, one of the Guardian robots. They tell their gigantic friend that another city is under attack, and Omega says he'd like to help, but he has to guard Crystal City. The Constructicons promise to guard the city, so Omega leaves. But when he gets to where he was going, he finds out there is no attack. His friends lied to him. Omega Supreme hurries back to Crystal City, but it's too late. While he was gone, the Constructicons merged and formed Devastator, and they destroyed Crystal City, much the way Godzilla would. Every man, woman, and child in Crystal City has been deactivated, and Omega Supreme goes into a rage. Omega's initiative is higher, so he goes first. He runs up to Devastator and punches him, doing 6 points of damage. Devastator's body drops from 18 to 12. Omega still has an automatic action, so he spends it yelling at Devastator, asking how he could do such a thing. On Devastator's turn, he says, "We work for Megatron now," which is a shocking revelation since the Constructicons always lamented how their son had spiraled out of control. Devastator's dice action is a punch that drops Omega's body from 20 to 16. On Omega Supreme's turn, he rolls a 7, but he needed a 9 or better to hit. Devastator goes, doing 4 points of damage, taking Omega's body down to 12. So now they're perfectly even. Omega goes, doing another 4 points of damage. Devastator's body is now 8. Devastator goes, doing 10 points of damage. Omega's body is now 2. Then Omega does 4 points of damage, so Devastator's body is down to 4. On Devastator's turn, he separates into the 6 separate Constructicons, and they scatter, each driving in a different direction. As Omega Supreme chases after one of the Constructicons, a Robo Smasher surprise attacks him. It starts cutting into Omega Supreme's brain circuits and rewiring him. This causes brain damage, as the previously eloquent Omega Supreme can barely talk now. He bellows and growls, and he grabs Robo Smasher with his claw hand. He smashes it and gives out a Hulk-like roar. He can't think straight, but he knows he hates the Constructicons. Omega Supreme chases them, but they drive into the tunnels towards the chamber where they built Megatron, the tyrant responsible for all of this misery. The Titan-sized Omega Supreme can't follow into the small tunnels, so he's left on the surface, roaring. He vows to one day get his revenge. And then we get into the epilogue of today's adventure. Cybertron has an atmosphere and a weather system, so it rains there, and the water runs off into lakes, rivers, etc. A canal runs through the golden city of Iacon, and beside this canal is a warehouse. Orion Pax and his best friend Dion are dock workers here, loading and unloading cargo. Orion's girlfriend is a cute female Autobot named Ariel. For the three of them, life is pretty good. One day, Megatron shows up, asking if raw materials or energy is stored here. The general public has no idea what Megatron has been doing behind the scenes, so Orion Pax is naive and overly trusting. Orion tells Megatron that they only store energy here. Megatron says, "That's just what I wanted to hear." He blasts Orion in his left shoulder. Orion lunges at Megatron, and Megatron blows a hole right through his chest, RoboCop style. Megatron blasts Dion and Ariel too, leaving them all for dead. The Decepticons take the energy, and the fallen Autobots are taken to Alpha Trion, formerly known as A3. Orion Pax is rebuilt. He is the first Autobot built for war, and he is given a new name, Optimus Prime. As Alpha Trion rebuilds Ariel into Elita 1, Optimus Prime wastes no time going after Megatron. Prime takes down a bunch of Megatron's drone troopers with ease, and a shocked Megatron asks what Prime's name is. Optimus says, "I'm your worst nightmare," then proceeds to give Megatron the worst beating he's ever had. Megatron calls retreat, so Soundwave and Shockwave fly away too. Optimus Prime can't fly like they can, so he's forced to just watch them escape. And that's it for this one. We had a good time playing it. I hope you had a good time listening to it. As always, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell. And what do you think of the Transformers? I'd be curious to hear about it in the comments section. And I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.